spending some time cleaning up the workshop, and there's a few tools that need some maintenance done, right? My poor lathe hasn't been touched in like 12 months. Every time I open the roller door in winter, water droplets drip down on my bandsaw and on my router table, causing the bandsaw to get some rust on it. And then when I bring timber in from outside that's got a bit of moisture on it and I put it on the table saw, I tend to forget about it. It sits there, the table saw rusts. So that needs some work too. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, we're talking routers, in particular, Triton routers. Now, everybody knows about the behemoth Triton 2400 watt router. This thing is an utter workhorse. It's a fabulous machine, and it's rightfully so that everyone talks about it. However, nobody seems to talk about its little brother, the 1400 watt version. Now, I don't know if nobody talks about it because it's no longer available anywhere in Australia that I can find, or if everyone just seems to think bigger is better. Either way, a few years ago, I bought a router table off of Marketplace because it had that Triton router in it, the 1400 watt version. And I'll tell you what, having a dedicated router table with that router in it that is never meant to come out is awesome. I use that router table so much more because I don't have to muck around with my big router and mount it and unmount it, and you get the picture. Anyway, I tried to do some big chamfers and I thought I'd better slow it down. Turns out speed controller's not working. And upon further inspection, parts had exploded and broken inside. So I spent some time and called around to a few places, and I tell you what, no one stocks parts for this. Even Carbotech told me they weren't willing to get it, and I had to go to a supplier in the UK. Because that's all they would do if they got it for me. So £60, and a couple of weeks later we get an international parcel rock up that has my speed controller in it. This little thing right here. Now, I scoured YouTube for other people who had this issue to see if it was a common issue, if there was an easy fix. I couldn't find squat. And that's the reason for this video today, because if anyone is having this issue, I don't want them to throw this router out. It is possible to fix. I say that it's possible to fix. I have no idea what I'm in for pulling this router apart, but it is possible to source the parts to fix it. We'll say that for now. So enough chin wagging, let's pull this router table apart and see if it was £60 well spent. Do keep in mind that Trump's tariffs and the wars and everything else has just destroyed the worldwide economy, really. And the pound is like $2.10 now. So it's not a cheap part, but it's cheaper than buying a new router. Let's see if I can figure this out. So, I actually spent some time very recently modifying this already. As you can see, I've fully enclosed the router, and that was purely to improve the dust collection aspect of using this router table. Now, using a router is a messy operation, but just by enclosing the router itself, it has made a massive difference. A single sheet of OSB, a couple of cuts in an afternoon, it went together very easily. I just had to make sure the front was easily removable so I could access the router. And the way I've done that is cut it just slightly bigger than the opening so that it's a press fit. You give it a pull and it comes straight out and you've got full access inside. Then we drop it back in there and it seals straight back up. Before we go any further, make sure your power is isolated before you do any of this. The entire router table is unplugged. This is unplugged from the power board. We're good here. Make sure you do the same. Alright, if you zoom in right here, you can see this like foam stuff that has kind of expanded and exploded from inside. When I open this up, this piece here and this piece here are from in here somehow. They sort of sit like in there and they had busted out, and I can only assume that is contributing to the problem, or that is a result of whatever the problem is that's going on in here. So after a vast amount of research, this entire piece at the top is the speed controller. So I need to figure out how to get this off so we can replace it with this one. And as you can see, this little piece is right there mounted in the center. And it's like all resin filled in here to lock everything in place. Now the only strange thing is that for some reason unknown to me, the new one doesn't come with the actual dial with the numbers on it. So make sure that you save that from your old one because you will need to transfer that over. You can see it plugs in right there, but it doesn't come with it. It did say that on the website that it didn't come with it, but it didn't give me an option to buy one that did come with it. So I'm hoping the old one comes off nice and easily. Ain't nothing left to do but do it, I guess. Crazy that that's £60 worth. What is the world that we're living in these days? That was a snap. Well, that came off super easily. It literally just fell off. So make sure you don't lose that. That transfers over to the new one, just like that. We're gonna have to pull more of this apart than I wanted to. I might switch the compressor on just so that we can actually clean all this out properly while we're in here, because there is a lot of sawdust in here. Now, considering this one is dead, I'm just going to cut my losses with this, I think. But obviously, the new one, we're going to have to feed through properly. There is a bit of what I'm assuming is like some expanding glue foam type of thing in there. So I'm just going to pick that out so that we can get the new cables through easily. It's one more cable right in there that I have no clue how I'm supposed to get to. But this housing's definitely going to have to come off in order to actually get it. Must be these screws up under there. I think in order to not have this flopping around, I'm going to cut this off. As you can see, something just went bang in the middle there. Not sure what exactly happened. Nice stubby Phillips head really helps with this operation. I'm not sure what else you would use to get up in here. It's a bit of an awkward spot. Quite a number of screws to keep track of. A lot more than I expected it to be. So we take the depth stop rod out. It's a thread. Of course. It's a thread. So that is your height adjustment there. Thread that down and the whole head comes off. We need to get that that plug right there off. We don't need that portion anymore, so I'm going to set that aside. Those two screws look like I might be able to get this whole part out. There. That allows access straight down there. So with that in mind, I need to hook this new controller up before I start putting all this back together. Step one done. And I know it's going to be too late by the time you see this video, but if you do see me doing anything wrong when I put this back together, by all means, leave me a comment down below so that I can hopefully go back and rectify it before totally wrecking my router. And also, if you know the name of these parts, that would be extremely helpful for me too, to start learning, I guess. Don't know what that's called. There we go. Remember to thread it back on. is an extremely tight fit in there. So you may just have to use your finger or a screwdriver or something to get in there and reposition the wires. There's a really small cavity sort of pocket that they sit in. Just got to make sure that they're sitting in there, otherwise it will not close. We are back together, hopefully correct. Guess it's time to get it back in the table. Oh no, I messed up there, didn't I? That was smoke, sparks, and a really bad smell. That's not good. That's not good. Alright, so I figured out the issue, and I kind of suspected it would be an issue, but I couldn't see how it was. This is how it was done originally, so I guess it was just pure luck that this hasn't happened before. But the main power, as you can see, that's seared. And it's actually been cut through, so it's hit on the main drive, the main motor basically, which has ground all of that covering away and just torn that wire apart. And that's what the sparks were. So hopefully the new controller's not cooked. I'm going to reroute these wires a better way than what they originally were. Probably going to have to cut that off. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to sort that out. Once I get it all back together properly with these routed a different way, we'll see if she works. So, important note is to make sure your wires are clear, I guess. I'm kicking myself now because I thought that is going to be an issue. But that's the way it was sort of done from what I assume is factory. So, it must be okay. Silly, silly. Always go with your gut instinct. But if you route them through here, that's 1,000,000% better, providing the cover still closes. That's the way that it should. That's the way that it has to be. I'll get back to you soon. So that's how you change the speed controller, but clearly not how you fix my particular issue, because won't go back down. It also adjusts by itself. Like if you started at 1, I don't know what the fix is here for this problem. And doing more reading online, and no one's really got a fix for it. It's kind of like an order a new part and hope that it works situation, which has really pissed me off, because if I had known that, I wouldn't have ordered a new part. I would have just flogged this router until it burnt out. I've now wasted an entire day on this piece of when I haven't really achieved anything. I might take my big router and put it in here instead. And I probably will never spend money on Triton again. What a pain in the ass. But in all honesty, if you have a suggestion or you know how I can fix this, please comment down below. I'm not going to throw it in the bin just yet. It's going to be hanging around in the workshop for the time being, probably until it fully dies. So, if you know how I can fix this, get in touch. Let me know. Not keen on the external speed control solution. I'm just going to say that now. Read a lot about it. Not keen to go down that route. So if you've got another idea, let me know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, legends, stay safe, look after yourself, and don't buy Triton, and I will see you soon.